Hey everyone, it's me, Lindsay from the Lindsay Life. I'm back here today to talk all about crochet kits. You cannot go into a store, you cannot shop for craft supplies online without coming across so many options for adorable crochet kits. In fact, there's so many out there right now that it can be totally overwhelming. There's just a lot to consider and a lot to take in, and how do you choose? So today I'm going to completely break down everything you need to know about crochet kits. We're going to talk about what comes in them, finding the right one for your skill level, what you need to know about the materials, the instructions, the supplies, and see some examples of some of the fabulous kits that are out on the market. So let's get started. So really, I feel like this whole crochet kit craze was kicked off by the woobles. If you have been anywhere in a store or online lately, you have seen an ad for the woobles, if not an actual woobles kit in person. I've had a lot of my in-person crochet students who are working on those. And those kits basically were combining super cute amigurumi crochet projects with the idea that you could use these projects to learn to crochet. And they've kicked off a lot of interest in crochet. So I've got to totally credit them for that. They also have given the impression in general, and I think a lot of kits do, that amigurumi can be a beginner level project. I've got feelings about that, especially because I've been teaching crochet in person for, at this point, over 14 years. Amigurumi is never something I start my students on. I start them with the basic chain stitch. Then I start them with single crochet worked in rows. And then maybe after double crochet, we start working in the round and we get to the point where I would help them jump into an amigurumi project. But crochet kits are totally turning that around, and they're getting people to start learning crochet from the beginning with amigurumi. Now, how successful is that? Well, it really depends on how you learn. Everybody has a learning style that works for them. And some people have a fabulous time learning from written instructions. And some people are really, really good learning from videos. If you find that watching videos online is a way that you really connect with learning something and how to do something, then some of those kits that are labeled as beginner might actually work for you, because a lot of them that are marked as beginner skill levels are actually going to have supplemental videos that you can watch online that will show you how to work the different stitches. So for example, the Toft kit with the octopus is labeled a skill level 1, so a beginner skill level. Would I necessarily say it's beginner? No, I might I would say advanced beginner, adventurous beginner maybe. But that's the way I teach. However, in addition to the written pattern, this comes with links to online videos to help you learn the different stitches and the different techniques. So if you're an adventurous learner, it's definitely doable. If you're not, if videos aren't the way that works with your brain and processing new information, that's okay. If you find a kit that you're totally in love with, that can be what I tell my students is to call it your aspirational project. This is the project I want to build my crochet skills and my crochet knowledge to the point that I'll be able to sit and work on this project. And you can probably find someone in person near you to help you learn your basic crochet skills to get to the point that you can confidently tackle that project. So my own part of Crochet Kit Crazy, I have been working on some different crochet kits. The first one I've been doing, I was given by the company Toft. And I actually got this at the H&H America's trade show because I was wandering by their booth and I saw these adorable little crochet octopuses. Here is mine. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. My son loves octopuses. And they were like, would you like one? I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, you know, we're from England. We don't want to have to take this back with us. I was like, okay, awesome. So I got a kit. Toft is based out of the UK. See that cute little American flag? It's US abbreviations for this kit that I was working on, which I can use UK abbreviations. I'm comfortable with both, but it was very nice to have that. The other crochet kit that I saw at H&H America's that I just completely fell for is this one from DMC. DMC, in addition to your cutesy amigurumi, is putting together these intermediate level crochet kits. And this one is all different crochet flowers. I've seen crochet flowers before and I always love them and I'm interested in like, should I try it? But then you need all the little like bits and pieces in different colors that kind of coordinate. And so this was just super awesome. DMC provided this to me so I could use it for this and another video. Came with all the colors, intermediate level. So this is something that they're saying right off the bat, not if you're brand new to crochet, but if you are, this is definitely something that could be your aspirational project. And if you're not brand new to crochet, then this is one I think you will love. So what comes in a crochet kit? There are certain things that you're obviously going to find in pretty much every crochet kit. First off, the pattern. Pattern instructions can come in a variety of different ways. So for the Toft kit, it was as simple as being printed on one side of a postcard. So the instructions are just on the back of this postcard and it has a QR code to lead to those helpful videos and helpful additional resources. The DMC flower kit I'm working on has this whole massive booklet. And not only does this booklet have the instructions in several different languages, it has a QR code so you can go online and get the instructions in even more languages. I know, right? Massive. Now, when you're trying to decide what kit is right for you, try to find out about the style of the instructions. Are the written instructions in US or UK crochet terminology? It should say so somewhere on the package. You also want to know if it's completely written instructions or do they have symbol diagrams. So the octopus kit, written instructions. The DMC flower kit was very interesting because there's a lot of written information for the assembly, but the instructions for the different pieces of the flowers themselves are pretty much symbol diagrams. So if you're going to make those flowers, you need to know symbol diagrams or you need to have someone who can help you learn how to read symbol diagrams. So this is just something to kind of know to look out for as you're shopping, so it's not a surprise once you get home. Like I said, if you want supplemental video assistance, it should say on the box and on the listing online whether it includes information and links to supplemental videos that can help you learn those techniques. If it doesn't, you're fine, you're stuck on like a basic stitch, like a single crochet or a double crochet, don't worry, I've got you covered with my other videos. Another item that came in the crochet kits I was working on is a hook. So this is the hook that came in the DMC kit, and this is the hook that came in the Toft kit. And the hilarious thing is they were both 3mm hooks. Different companies both went with a 3mm. Also interesting because 3mm hooks aren't common in the US, but both of these are UK based companies, so from that perspective it makes sense. Now, you don't have to use the hook that comes in the package. If you have a different hook at home that you prefer, you totally can. But the choice of hook is going to play into an issue with yarn amounts and gauge. A lot of crochet kits I have seen do not specify a gauge. And on the one hand, this kind of makes sense because if you're crocheting a tiny little animal, you are not likely to make a 4-inch swatch or to pull out your tape measure just to measure like the little tiny foot. But from my background as a crochet designer and technical editor, what I can tell you is the reason that those gauge numbers are important is because they relate to the amount of yarn used. So if your gauge is not the same as the designer's gauge, you may need more yarn or less yarn, which can become a tricky thing when you're crocheting from a kit. So that's why for both of these kits, I decided to use the hook that was included. So with my little octopus, this yarn was big and floofy because it's like a DK weight. I really would have been tempted to go up a hook size. I still could have had nice tight stitches that stuffing wouldn't have escaped through, but I was worried that my stitches would be large enough that I would be using more yarn and I might run out. At the end, it turns out I probably didn't need to worry. I probably would have been fine to go up to like a 3.25mm, but I wasn't quite sure in the beginning. So that's kind of the biggest risk, I would say, with crochet kits, because all the supplies are included. You're kind of stuck some ways with the yarn amounts. I didn't feel like I had that sort of issue being stuck with the DMC because they're using yarns that I can just go online and order as well. So if I decide that I want to make an extra flower and I need more of this bright pink, I can use the information in the kit, go online, find the exact same pink, and order some extra. Is it a pain? Not if I want more pink flowers. I love the flowers. So speaking of the yarn, different yarns from different companies and different kits. DMC went with the 100% cotton for their amigurumi. It would help if I held it right side up, right? So great cotton, quality stuff, very good to work with. My Toft Octopus, this is a wool yarn, and I'm fine with wool. If you have wool allergies, then before you buy a kit, you're going to want to check and see what the fiber content is that is listed for that kit. There was another kit I almost tried, the company behind which shall remain nameless. And the yarn was so splitty that I gave up. So see if you can find some reviews. If you're not, look, if you're going for the Toft or the DMC, you're good. If it's another brand, maybe see if you can find some reviews online or some close-ups on the yarn to see if it's too splitty. Because that can just be not a fun thing to work with. So your kit's going to have the yarn, the instructions. It's most likely going to have the hook. And then we get to the giant category that we call notions. So some notions are included and some aren't. Both these kits gave me a yarn needle. In fact, it was adorable because DMC put their yarn needles in this little protected packaging, so it didn't just get lost in the kit. Super cute. And I almost don't even want to open this one because the packaging is so cute. Neither kit came with a stitch marker. So I think a stitch marker is definitely something to be on the lookout for, especially with amigurumi. When you're single crocheting in continuous rounds, you need a stitch marker to help you keep track at the beginning of the round. So just know you might need some stitch markers. Once again, all of the kits you're looking at in the store should list what's included inside the kit. And that'll help give you an idea of what else you need to have already. So you probably need a stitch marker. You probably need scissors. Most kits aren't going to come with scissors. They figure you have scissors at home. The flowers in this kit were more advanced. So they actually require floral wire and stuffing that was not included. So that was something extra that I had to go out and find. Not a big deal. Stuffing I already had at home. Floral wire. Okay, confessions of a craft addict. Did I already own floral wire? Probably. Was it probably my craft area in the basement? Probably. Was it easier to go to the store and buy another package of craft wire than go down to the basement and dig through the boxes? Yes, totally. So now I have more floral wire. It happens. I can make more flowers. It's okay. But yeah, so that's kind of what you have to consider. Well, it really is just kind of reading the packaging, seeing what's included, and making sure that works for you, and the style of instructions also work for you. We can't have a full conversation about crochet kits without talking about the cost of crochet kits. And if you're not a total beginner, if you've crocheted for a while, if you've got stash beyond life expectancy like I do, doesn't make sense to purchase a kit from a financial standpoint. Most of the kits I'm seeing online are in the $20 to $30 US range. So if you break it down into the sum of its pieces, it's not necessarily cheaper to buy a kit. You think, if I have to buy one color of yarn, 2 colors of yarn, I could use scraps. How much are you willing to pay for a pattern? How much do you value the pattern at? Especially nowadays when we have so many influencers making free patterns with video tutorials available, what is the financial benefit of a kit? So I would say, first of all, when you're purchasing a kit, part of it is you are purchasing convenience. Everything is packaged and put together for you, and you can just open it up and get going. And that's awesome, because if you've ever gone through the I want to make this, but I need this color and I need this color, and which brand would have the pink I need but also have the shade of blue I need, that takes a lot of time. So having it kind of all put together and bundled for you is actually pretty fabulous. Another benefit of the kits is, I think, with the instructions, the sort of support you're going to get, especially if you want the video support. A lot of the kits are really good at that and are really willing to provide that. So when I buy a PDF pattern online that's just a PDF standalone pattern, the ones I'm interested in are usually in the $5 to $10 range. So if I factor that in as the value of that pattern in the kit, then yeah, the cost of the kit pretty much does come to be approximately close to the cost of the individual pieces. If you're always using free patterns you find online and not spending a dime there, then yeah, I get it. A kit's going to be slightly more expensive than sourcing the yarn yourself and doing the stuff yourself. But I also think of it like purchasing the kit, you're purchasing the materials and the instructions to help you produce one item, but that doesn't mean that the pattern is not useful for making more than one item. So I made my one adorable red octopus. I can totally use my stash yarn and make more adorable octopuses. With the flowers, it came with the materials to make a certain number of flowers, but I've already decided that with the mini rose, I love the way the mini rose from the flower kit looks, and I actually want to make a whole little bouquet of mini roses for the guest bedroom. And I'm probably going to get the DMC cotton yarn in some colors that'll kind of match the bedspread in there to make a whole separate little mini bouquet. So from that perspective, definitely totally getting your money's worth. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown all about crochet kits. If you still have any questions, feel free to comment or shoot me an email at support@thelindsylife.com. I'm also going to be doing some more detailed videos where I talk just about the octopus kit and just about the flower kits that are now out from DMC. So hope you enjoyed this. Check out some of the other videos that I've got with fabulous crochet, knit, and crafty information, and I'll see you next time. I did not tell you to start recording. This is a flower, a flower.